As we are nearing the 2020 election, we see all over Facebook, Twitter, and social media, period, things about voting, going out and voting, different people's opinions on who they think should win and why they should win and who they voted for and all of that. And typically when you are looking at this though, you're seeing most of these being adults. You're not really seeing most kids post about it. But there is a big social media platform called TikTok, which has recently become pretty popular. It's kind of like what Vine used to be, if you're familiar with what Vine was. It has short video clips that ends up getting spread super, super fast. Most of them are kind of like comedy video clips, but there can be a range from comedy to DIYs and many other things. A lot of them people explain where they're coming from and stuff in these video clips, and that's exactly what these kids are doing that are not able to vote yet but are still campaigning for the different presidential candidates such as Biden and Trump. Now, usually when you think of kids campaigning, you wouldn't really think that they have, a big platform, quite a bit of people that are in support of them, that are watching them. But there's one that has a group of over 350 creators and 150 million people that are following, which is absolutely crazy because that is a whole lot of contributors for one, and that many people that are following is crazy because if you think there's 150 million people following, but there's going to be a whole lot more that are watching that aren't following, but it still circulates around to them on their feed. So I think that this is pretty interesting to see that a form like TikTok can actually become a campaign. And these teens are actually using this forum to raise money for the election and their candidates. And I think that's pretty cool in a way because, that's a business strategy that a lot of adults wouldn't necessarily think of to use. So I chose this article because I was very impressed with these kids' ambition. I think that to sit down and do the work that it takes to make those videos and to make them flaw proof, for one, all the time that they spend on stuff like transitions and signage or looking up the information, putting together all the different stuff that they need in order to raise funds is just absolutely crazy to think of that would come from a kid. You wouldn't necessarily think of that. And typically if you get on TikTok, most of what you see are like silly videos, fun videos, different DIYs. Usually it's mostly comedy type stuff that comes up on my feed personally. But I do believe that TikTok is a very important platform for this election because it can change a lot of people's opinions and influence people greatly. And in some ways that can also be a very big negative when it comes to learning your information, because some people will watch the video and they will stop there. They will not investigate any further as to if that information is true or not, which can be a big downfall for both of the presidential candidates. This specific one that I'm actually talking about though is a campaign for Biden, so he has a whole lot of young viewers' votes, even though that they can't necessarily vote yet. He still has their vote and their support. So my first question is, have you seen one of these political videos on TikTok? I personally have not. I've seen a whole lot of political videos, but I personally haven't seen one for either president. My next question would be, if you saw one of these videos, would you take what they're saying into consideration since they are kids? I know sometimes as an adult, when you watch these kids on social media platforms, sometimes what they say gets discredited a little bit just because their age. You don't necessarily take them as serious, or you feel like their information could be a little faulty, a little biased because of the people they're around and not truly their opinion. So that would be my next question. And my last question is, do you think TikTok is a good platform for expressing social issues? I personally think that it could be a big platform, especially for the younger generation. Now, for the older generations, I typically don't think it would be a good platform just because it's not something most older people are familiar with. I'm personally not very familiar with it. I personally just started using it, so I'm still learning how things work, and I typically don't get on it that much because I just don't have the time. But I feel like for our young generation and everything becoming so technological, and especially in times like we're in now with COVID and where we can't really have gatherings and stuff, I feel like social media has just really exploded with information and being able to get things around and out to people. So that was my current event for this week.